Well, sometimes back I used to be a teacher. I taught both primary and secondary schools, which were both, there was a public school and also I taught in a private school. I was able to be a teacher at Babadogo Primary School, where I taught mostly social studies and English, and also at Ofafa Jericho Primary School. I was there as a teacher for some time. Then I also taught at Excellence Center of Academics, where I taught geography and English. So after that, I was able to work with a non-governmental organization in designing and implementing social protection policy in Africa. That was the African Institute for Health and Development that I worked with. After working with the African Institute for Health and Development for quite some time, because I was just a volunteer by that time, therefore I was able to work with Hardwick Limited, where I was trained to work as a procurement officer by the Hardwick Limited personnel, and later on I was promoted to a senior staff at Hardwick Limited, whereby I worked as a sports betting administrator. So I was an administrator at some point. So I left Hardwick and joined the General Service Unit, where I worked with GSU, which enabled me to work almost all over the country. I've been to all those hot points, and I've experienced other people's culture, how they live, how they are. I've experienced war, I've experienced all this, and I thank God that He's been merciful, that He's taken good care of me till today. Friends have left, those people who passed on, and we're still here. It's just the grace of God. So later on, I joined the general duties in Kenya Police Service at Bungoma Police Station. I started with Bungoma Police Station, then from Bungoma Police Station, then I joined, I was transferred to Embu Police Station, but I realized that things were different. It was not the areas that I worked. You see, you can have relationship as a police officer. I can have a relationship with somebody, and it doesn't mean that if I have a relationship with somebody out there, any civilian out there, it makes that civilian to be in a position where she can just talk anyhow to other officers, or even abuse them the way she feels like. And it does not make that person above the law. But in Embu, I found it different. I found things different. At the point I went to work, and it was during curfew hours, and I realized that there was someone who was operating past time. She was a lady who was having a wines and spirit shop, and therefore she was operating past curfew hours. And upon going there, I asked her, like, why are you going against the presidential directives? Do you know you are doing a big mistake? Why is it that other wines and spirit shops are closed and you're still operating? We were 3 officers, and the other officers, she took out 50 shillings, giving it to another officer. I told that officer to return that money back. When I told the officer to return the money back, this lady became very, very furious. She was annoyed, but I told her, we are not here for bribes. I just want her to follow curfew orders. And she told me, who do you think you are? Do you know who I am? I can ensure that you get transferred to any area I desire right in the morning. That I am in good relationship with some of your bosses, and I can inform you that I have the power to do so, and that I will come and see your bosses. And I told her, my bosses are not under your command. She even abused me. Like, fuck you, by doing to me like this. It was just so gross. And my colleagues told me, Wanga, let's go. Let's just go. Because the lady had already started inciting people, making noise, telling me to get out of her door. I just told her, no, you don't have to open your wines and spirits shop past a few hours. Just shut it down. And there were so many people who were crowded inside there. They are not even keeping social distance. So I just told her, no, you have to shut down the shop at this moment. And tomorrow I'm sure that I will observe curfew orders. This lady came to my house. I never knew that she had maybe some kind of relationship with my boss. And she already of which I did not. And therefore, an inquiry file was opened. And even when you look at her statement, she attempted to bribe us and we refused. And that is what she told my boss, and that is what she even wrote in her statement. Like, she gave us some money and I refused to take the money. I told my colleague to take it back to her because I'm not used to that. I know my work. I know what I'm here to do. And thinking that I was doing the right thing as a police officer, I didn't know that this would make my boss to be annoyed, whereby he ordered an inquiry file to be opened immediately. Since he's a superintendent, he has the powers to do so. So an inquiry file was opened, and even according to this lady's statement, you could just see like, oh, these are all lies. She would say how we were armed. We were so armed when we went to her place and threatened her with our guns. And I'm like, okay, how did I threaten you? When she said like, she can ensure that I can be transferred to anywhere. I told her I don't have a problem with that. I can work anywhere because I've worked everywhere, like almost everywhere. So she said that I threatened her with our guns, and I'm like, that day we were not armed. According to Arms Movement book, we were not armed. But this lady claimed that we were armed. They were just all lies. When you could have just looked at her statement that she wrote, it showed that she was lying. But my boss insisted that I should be charged in a disciplinary room proceedings. It was painful. I reported the matter to the Internal Affairs Unit. But the crazy thing, little did I know that there are also police officers who are there. And therefore, this superintendent is more powerful and had influence. And what did they do? They gave they gave my boss to be the guy, another boss who is just an immediate boss of whoever was doing all this to me to be an investigating officer. So I was like, this is ironical. It doesn't make sense. This is a lie, you know? How can it work like that? How can it work? Like, why? I just didn't understand.